Okay, 4-4 worksheet 1, factoring quadratics with coefficient 1 or -1 with a GCF. So number 3, we're going to look at our coefficient on our x squared term. The coefficient is a 1, so therefore I do not need to pull out a GCF. So I'm going to simply go ahead and break this down into two binomials, splitting up x squared into x and x. Then I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to look at the last term sign. The last term is a positive, so I get a plus plus or a minus minus. How do I know which one to do? Look at the middle sign, and that means it's going to be plus plus. That means you are going to add. And now I need all the factors of 28. So that's going to be 1 and 28, 2 and 14, 3 no, 4 and 7. So now I need factors that are going to add to 11. This is 29, this is 16, and this is 11. So I'm going to use a 4 and a 7. How do I check this? Inner gives you a 4x, outer gives you a 7x to give you a grand total of 11x, and you are done. Number 10. First thing you're going to do is look at your leading coefficient. Your leading coefficient is what is attached to the x squared term. Is it a -1? So therefore, I'm going to pull out a factor of -1. So if I pull out a -1, that means I'm doing division. Negative x squared divided by -1 is positive x squared. Negative 11x divided by -1 is positive 11x. Negative 30 divided by -1 is positive 30. Okay? So then I'm going to go ahead and break this down into two binomials. So this is going to give me an x squared and an x squared, or x squared goes into x and x. I need a positive, so that means I have plus plus or minus minus. I'm looking at my middle term, that's a plus, so therefore I'm going to use plus plus. Factors of 30. So your factors of 30, go over here just so that you can see it, are going to be 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 10, and 15. So 1 and 30, 2 and 15, 3 and 10, 4 no, 5 and 6. So I need to add to get to 11, so that's 31, 17, 13, and 11. So I'm going to use a 5 and a 6. How do I know that I'm right? Inner gives me a 5x, outer gives me a 6x to give me a grand total of 11x. And yes, I know I'm right. Okay. Moving on to number 14. Looking at your leading coefficient, which is attached to the x squared term, that is a -5x squared. So we're now going to look at each of the coefficients of the other terms. And we're going to say, are all of them divisible by -5? The answer is yes, they are. So -5x squared divided by -5 is an x squared. 15 divided by 5 is going to be a -3x. 270 divided by 5 is going to give you, I like to make sure that I'm right because there's nothing worse than having the wrong thing. It's going to be a -54. Okay. So then we're going to go ahead and break this down into two binomials. This is going to be x and x. I need to now have a -54. A negative means my signs are going to be opposite, which means I am subtracting. So I need a positive and a negative. Factors of 54. So I come over here to my factor calculator soup, type in 54, 1, 2, 3, 6, 9. Then I'm going to have 9, 18, 27, 54. And I'm going to subtract these, and I need to have a 3. So this is going to give me a 3, so I know I'm going to use a 6 and a 9. My middle term is a negative, and that's going to go to the bigger number. The bigger number goes to the minus sign, so that becomes a -9 with a +6. How do I know that I'm right? Inner gives me a 6x, outer gives me a -9x. The bigger sign is 9. That gives me the -3x, which is what I wanted. So remember that -5 is that annoying little sibling that must tag along with you everywhere that you go, right? Last problem that I'm going to do for you today on your homework is going to be number 19. We have a GCF of a -2, so we're going to pull that out to give you an x squared minus an x minus a 72. Put this into two binomials. That's an x and an x. My signs must be opposite. Factors of 72 are going to be 9 and 8. Those are the ones that you automatically probably know. Which one's larger? The 9. The 9 gets the negative. The 8 comes right here. How do I know I'm right? Here's an 8x. Here's a -9x to give me a -1x, and I am done. So go ahead and finish tonight's worksheet, which is 4.4, worksheet 1. And if you have any questions, please let me know.